Learning how to love yourself or beginning to treat yourself well is something that women especially have a hard time doing. It seems that we spend the better part of our lives pleasing and appeasing others, silencing our inner voice, and being riddled with insecurity and a feeling that something is just missing. We beat ourselves up pretty badly, ladies. We replay a small mistake that we made over and over again in our minds. We fight with ourselves. We look at ourselves with absolute disgust. We say things to ourselves that we would never say to any of our friends. Why do we do this? I think it's because we don't know any better. No one tells you how important loving yourself is. In fact, they tell you how much you should love others and not yourself. If you even mention love yourself first in polite conversation, people will look at you like you're a monster. What? Love yourself? Love yourself first? That's selfish. And to love yourself first, it's definitely selfish. Being selfish means being primarily concerned with your own interests. What's wrong with that? The only rational way to live is to take care of you and treat yourself well so that you can serve others. For all of your life, all you have is you. You must make you your number one priority. By not making loving you your primary concern, you'll engage in self-destructive behaviors and relationships. Selfishness, even with its negative connotation, is vitally important to your health and well-being. Besides, you can't love anyone else if you don't love you. You have to first love you. First love you. I mean, how can you give yourself or give someone else a gift if you don't already possess it? Think about it. How could I possibly give you a gift that I don't have? You can't. You can't give what you don't have, and that includes love. Before learning how to love yourself, you are coming to others out of a need. Even if you think that you are loving them, you are not. You are manipulating people to get your needs met. You need them to give you a sense of you. And that's why we lose ourselves in relationships. We allow others' opinions and approval to run our lives. We give and nurture, sometimes to the point of resentment, and then we expect others to fill our emotional well. It simply doesn't work like that. Loving yourself first means that you develop a healthy sense of I, and you are not dependent on others to tell you who you are. You give more weight to your inner voice than to what others think or believe about you. You take the responsibility to define and create your own life, and it's part of becoming a healthy individual. The first step in learning how to love yourself is healing your past. So now I'm going to talk about healing your past and then dropping it. Learning how to love yourself begins with healing your past because you have to know who I is and where I came from before you can love that I. Have you ever thought about where your sense of self came from? If you're like most women, your idea of me came from someone outside of yourself or someone's outside of yourself. You carry around very unreal ideas about who you are, and these ideas form the lens through which you see the world and interact with others. In fact, most of us carry other people with us as we go from situation to situation in life. This emotional baggage interferes with our experience and does not allow us to relate in healthy ways. Learning how to love yourself helps you drop the baggage and just be you. For instance, in childhood, you may have picked up on the idea that women should always be nice, or women should always be good girls, or that women should not be slutty, or should not sleep with a lot of people. You may have picked up ideas about women like we don't make waves and we're not supposed to be impolite. And this stops you from taking appropriate action, sharing your opinions, or expressing your emotions like grief and anger in situations when you need to be assertive. It's so important to figure out why you believe what you do about yourself and how you came to believe it. Maybe you struggled with math in school, and from that came the idea that you weren't very smart. Or maybe your parents led you to believe that your sister was prettier than you. Or maybe those kids who teased you in 7th grade filled your head with the idea that self is a pimply-faced, flat-chested freak. Whatever the case, you still carry carry around all of these people with you each and every day until you make the decision to kick them out of your head once and for all and love yourself, your real self, your authentic self, your you. There are some less obvious ideas that you carry around too. Just beneath the surface, a little out of your consciousness, you hold at least a few self-limiting beliefs. Women are the weaker sex. You have to be a mother. You're only pretty when you smile. You may not see how these ideas affect you, but they do. Every little thought you think about affects you in some ways. So in order to love yourself, you really have to go back and heal your past. And then you have to drop it. If you don't drop these things, you're not going to be able to really love the real you. One thing you can do to help yourself drop that past is to make a list of everything you think about yourself. That's right, grab a piece of paper and a pen and write your name in big letters at the top. Allow yourself to freely write all over the page to answer the question, who am I? You may start with your job title or some role that you play. I'm daughter to so-and-so or godmother to blah. And then you may move on to more descriptive words. I am strong. I am weak. I am clumsy. I'm not happy all the time. I laugh a lot. I'm fat. Don't just scratch the surface on this. Try to recall every little thing that someone has said about you or that you have said to yourself. Write down every nickname that people have given you. Write down what your high school sweetheart used to call you. Write what your old boss said about you in your last performance review. Write down every rumor that you've ever heard about yourself. Write and think and write and think. Really dig deep on this. After you do this, though, take a look at your list. And what ideas from your past have you been carrying around? What thoughts have shaped your reality? What is your ego made of? Then you have to be who you are. Be who you really are. Once you see where your idea of I came from, you can begin to be the person who you really were meant to be. On your list, start crossing off the things that you would not like to carry around anymore and add words or phrases that sound good to you. For instance, you can add words to your list like, or phrases like, I am so pretty. I have $1 million in the bank. I treat myself well every day. I can fit into those cute shorts from last summer. Okay, maybe that's just what's on my list. but what you're doing then is you're creating your own version of I. Instead of letting others do it for you, you are the one who's in charge of creating your own version and vision of who you want to be. The funny thing is that whatever you write on your what I want to be list is what you really are when you drop all of your negative programming. And that's all that learning how to love yourself is. Committing to loving yourself daily and dropping everything that is not the real you. See, at your root, at your core, you are a perfect being. You are you, divine and unique. You are beautiful, strong, and powerful. You are worthy of the absolute best that this world has to offer because you are a child of the universe or a child of source energy or a child of God. When you realize this, you will become more authentic and you won't be guided by other people's opinions. You will joyfully express your I in the world. Learning how to love yourself and being who you really are is the greatest gift that you can give to anyone, most of all to yourself. First love you and everything else will fall into place.